Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Imperial Guide video, and today guys I am super excited to go through the reveals of the Death Korps of Krieg plastic box set. It's finally here guys. How many years have we heard rumours about new plastic guardsmen, trenchcoat guardsmen? Finally it is here. I actually did know about some form of plastic guardsman coming. My Inquisition contacts had told me, something's coming. But it was, from what I understood, these guys were meant to come out last summer. So there has been some big delays, and I think we can all understand that. I think COVID has had some significant delays on this kit. But who cares? Because it's here now. And they look really, really good. I think these models are absolutely fantastic. I'm super excited. I will definitely be picking up some serious quantities of these bad boys. I am really excited. I haven't yet decided if I'm going to fold them into my current existing Krieg forces, or if my current existing Kriegers are going to become part permanently of my Steel Legion. And these Krieg guys might be a separate regiment. I haven't decided yet. I don't know. All I do know is I'm going to get several of these kill team boxes because I've got Orcs and I've got Krieg, and so this box is perfect for me. I'll probably end up with loads of the terrain and everything as well, which will probably be pretty cool as well. So it looks really, really good. Now, speaking of the kill team box, currently we do not know if these models are going to be sold separately. I know there's a lot of assumptions that they will be, and in the long term they might be, but bear in mind, guys, it did take Games Workshop about a year to release the Kellamorph, which was a kill team exclusive model, as a standalone thing for the Genesical, and Chaos still haven't got their own Obliterator, the Obliterator models from Vigilus. They still haven't got those as a standalone thing, from what I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm going to be picking up these boxes because I've got access to the two primary armies in that box, which is Orcs and Krieg, and two, I just want to get my hands on these. I don't want to be waiting around for them. I want them, and I'm willing to. I want them. So I'm super excited for them, and I've just thrown these pictures. I've been going through a bit of a cycle, and they look so detailed. They look so detailed, and they look fantastic. Now I know there has been some concern around maybe will they scale right with the current Krieg models. I think it's highly likely that these ones will be the same scale or maybe slightly bigger than the current Cadian range. I think that they won't fit in great with the current Krieg range. I think the reason for that is that the current Krieg models are actually very small and dainty. If you put those next to a current Cadian model, the Krieger looks much, much thinner and slimmer and narrower. And I've got loads of broken off lasguns because the Krieg lasguns are really, really thin. So I do think that these guys will look bigger. But I don't think it will invalidate your range, because if you've already got a big Krieg army, for the simple fact that is, these models aesthetically, from their equipment, their trench coats, their lasguns, everything, their helmets, all of it looks so in line, in keeping with the current Krieg range. So I think you'll have no issue with mixing your old models with your new models. I think if you, I don't know what the best way would be, mix old models in with new models, and maybe that would just look like you've got some slightly bigger squad mates, or have old models in their squads and new models in their squads, and then just don't have them too close to each other on the battlefield. I don't know. Who knows? But I think when you've got a big horde of these guys, which I know a lot of Krieg players will want to get a lot, big hordes of them, I think you won't see the difference. And I can tell you that from experience, okay? So if you're a Krieg player out there that's worried about this, hear me. Jafar, hear me. So, my Mordian Iron Guard are smaller than my Cadians, because they're the old metal ones. And when I run my big infantry army, when I start running 100 plus 200 models, and I run my Cadians alongside my Mordians, you cannot see the difference in scale. You just can't. It might, when you hold them up one by one, side by side, you'll probably be able to see it. But when you're fielding a guard army, which is at minimum turning it with like 60 infantry, but more than likely if you're running a hybrid guard army, turning it with a minimum of like 100, 120 infantry, you won't see that. And if you go down the World War I aesthetic and go full on infantry, bayonet charge, happy gas mask noises, if you do that, and you're running like 300 bozos, or like I did a recent tournament, 260 bozos, you won't see that scale difference. I guarantee it. You have the Morning Glory guarantee. Unless these guys are the size of Primaires, and then you might do. But if they're similar size to Cadians, or even just a slightly bit bigger, you should be okay. So now that we've seen some of the generic pictures, let's take a look at some more specific images and what you can expect from this new kit. So one of the big concerns that Guard players, including myself, has had regarding any new Guard kit is, are we going to have a loss of customization, of customability, if that's a word? Because the current Cajun kit, whilst dated, and it's had the new sprue in there, so weapon options aren't too bad now. But whilst it is dated, it's so customizable. You can get third-party heads from anywhere. You can kit bash with other Games Workshop heads. It's a really, really great sort of template version 1.0 of a Guardsman kit, and you can just do whatever the hell you want to it. It's so customizable. And the great thing is that, and the concern with newer kits, I should say, if you look at some of the new Sisters kits, and especially, some of the new Marine kits, is that they're quite monopose, and the weapon options are super limited. Intercessors don't come with any special weapons. Sisters come with, like 5 poses in the box, and that's it kind of thing. But the great news is, and hopefully you can see that from these pictures of sprues. Now again, we'll be doing cycles of these pictures. Don't worry if you've missed one, it'll come back around the cycle and you can pause the video at that point. The great thing about it is it looks like these kits are full multi-part, multi-posable kits. We should have no issues with being able to adjust arms, adjust weapons or anything like that. We should be having a really, really good time. And that's absolutely fantastic to see. It's absolutely fantastic to hear. It just gets rid of the biggest concern I had with the new Guard kit. And so, yeah, I'm really confident that also the way that Games Workshop has laid these sprues out is that they've got dedicated Krieg sprues, which means that gives me good confidence for us getting a standalone Krieg box at some point in the future. I don't know that for certain, but I have good confidence for that. Some people wonder why Games Workshop does release something that seems like a really hot topic and then drops it. For example, when you had the Traitor Guard as part of Blackstone Fortress. The reason why Traitor Guard never got a standalone box is because if you look at the sprue that they were on, they didn't have a dedicated standalone sprue. They were on there with some beastmen, with some like drone things, with like some rogue site, all this kind of stuff. It was a sprue that had about 5 or 6 different minions on it from the Blackstone Fortress game. And because of that, the Traitor Guard basically never got their own kit because Games Workshop would have had to, they would have had to redo a whole new mold. So that's why Games Workshop basically didn't do a new kit. And that was the concern I had when I saw this was a Kill Team box. So I thought, are they going to end up putting Orcs and Krieg on the same sprue to try and save space? It doesn't look like they've done that. So that gives me really good confidence for getting a standalone kit. From what you can see in these weapon options, it looks like on these sprues, it looks like there are plenty of weapon options. We've seemed to have plasma pistols, maybe with some kind of flame or melter pistol, I don't know. But we seem to have all the special weapon options that we need, plus loads of other stuff as well. Medic stuff, close combat weapons, backpacks, all of it seems to be just really, really good. So I don't think we're going to have any issues with this kit. Yeah, overall just looks like a solid new addition to the Guard line. And what's kind of interesting is that if these do become separate and standalone, could they replace the current Cajun kit? I do think it was a bit of a strange move by Games Workshop to announce the upgrade sprue for Cadians and then announce these guys very shortly after, because a lot of people are going to now just wait and skip over the new Cadian sprue and just get this. I mean, maybe. I suppose not everyone will be into the whole World War I aesthetic or trench coats. Some people do want a more modern operator style army. So I think the new Cadian kit will definitely, I say new Cadian sprue in the old kit will definitely have some viability there. But I do think a lot of people are going to get into Krieg for their Guardsmen now. But we'll just have to wait and see. I suppose it entirely comes down to player choice, and I am a big fan of Games Workshop giving us options. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. It was only start of 8th, really, that games were, that we had a different kit for every single guard regiment, from Valhallans to Mordians to Cadians. We had a different kit for every single regiment. Steel Legion, you used to be able to buy on the Games Workshop website. This is only 3 years ago. You used to be able to buy las cannon teams for Steel Legion, heavy bolter teams for Steel Legion, plasma gunners, officers. You used to be able to buy loads for the Steel Legion, and every other regiment had at least an infantry box. So I am a big fan of Games Workshop just giving us more regiment options. We've got a cast jam box. It might be pretty bad, but we've got one. That could just do with an upgrade sprue. It could do with an overhaul, but I'll settle for an upgrade sprue. Same with the Cadians. And now we've got Krieg. I mean, yeah, if they could bring back a kit like this for all the other guard regiments, I'd be super ecstatic. I'd be really happy. That would, bring on plastic Mordians. I'm so used to saying metal Mordians, I almost said plastic metal Mordians, which wouldn't have made any sense. Bring on the plastic Mordians, and if you do that, Games Workshop, I guarantee me alone will increase your share price by a couple of points, because I'll just buy so many of them. Just tell me it's coming, and I'll buy them. I'll put a down payment. I'll pre-order. But we're not here to talk about Mordians, here to talk about the Krieg. So yeah, overall, really positive vibes from this kit. Seems like there's no downside to it, really. I suppose the only downside, from a certain perspective, from some people's perspective, will be it's part of a kill team box. So let's take a look at that kill team box now. So I'm just going to throw up some pictures of the new kill team box and some things that we can see on the Warhammer community website. And so what it looks like, if you want to get your hands on these Krieg models, you're going to have to buy a kill team box. And what that box is going to contain is a squad of the Kriegers. It's going to contain a squad of the new Orc Commandos, and it's going to have loads of terrain in it as well. So it actually looks like a really good way. It'll depend on the price point, and I don't know if anyone knows the price of this box or has previous experience with it. If you do, please, let me know. Put it down in the comment section below. I didn't see anything that hinted to it, but if this is reasonably priced, I could definitely see this kill team box being a fantastic way of getting into 40k. As a whole, I mean, I know you can play the kill team thing and it will have its own rules, which is fine. But if you're the kind of person that wants to get into the hobby, and maybe you've got you and a friend who want to get into it at the same time, having Krieg and Orcs in one box is a really good way of doing it. I mean, both of those factions are really cool. No one's gonna say, oh, you're a whacker or whatnot if you turn up with a full Krieg army or full Orc Commando army. So that's pretty cool. On the other side, I think, for some people this will be a bit of a barrier, because they'll be like, well, I just want the Krieg models. For those people, I would just recommend, trying to split the box with your local friendly Orc player. Every gaming group has one. I guarantee you will have an Orc player or someone in your gaming group who wants to get into Orcs, who want to pick this box up. So you can just split it with them if you want to. And if you don't, then there's plenty of stuff in here. Even if you have to, sell it for a bit less than you'd want to, between the Orcs and the terrain and some of the other extra goodies and gubbins that you get, you could definitely, sell off the bits you didn't want on eBay. And again, Orcs are a very popular faction, and the terrain is always people are always going to want, more new terrain, especially official Games Workshop stuff. So there's loads you can do with this box. But for me personally, how I see it is, I would get this box. If I was new to get into 40k, I would get this box. It gives you 2 armies to get started with. If you buy multiples of it, it gives you 2 armies to get started with. You'll have buttloads of terrain to play around with. And from what we can see on the models, even and the Orc ones as well as the Krieg ones, whilst this box may contain Orc Commandos, from what I can see, these Orc models are also super customizable. It's very interesting that Games Workshop has brought in this box with such customization for the two armies, Guard and Orcs, which are very, very famous for their kit bashing and customization. Obviously, Chaos can do it a lot as well. But, you know, Guard, you never see a Guard army which hasn't got head swaps these days, for example, or someone's done some work around the parts. And with Orcs, well, they are literally the quintessential kit bashing army. So it looks really, really good. I reckon you could build these commandos or build these Orcs and not even worry about having them just as commandos. I think they'll make just good, fantastic, generic Orc boys. You could do anything with them. From what I've seen, they look like a really, really flexible kit. So there are some advantages and disadvantages to the box. You know, if you just want your Krieg Guardsmen, you might have to, you know, buy some stuff and then sell stuff you don't want and whatnot. You know, there's a few disadvantages. I'm not going to dress it up too much, but I certainly think for someone who's if you think of dipping your toe in Orcs, this is a great way of doing it. And if not, you can certainly recoup some of your costs by selling off the bits of the box that you don't want. But yeah, overall, really, really good. I've thrown up some data sheets and stuff from the Warhammer community articles as well that show off pictures of the new Krieg stats. With it being kill team, obviously the stats are a bit different to what you expect in normal 40k, although we can see certain things like weapon skill 4+, ballistic skill 4+, so it doesn't look like Krieg will be getting their weapon skill 3+ back, which is a bit of a shame. It looks as well like your regular Krieg Guardsmen are still going to have like a 5+ save, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not sure if the Krieg is going to get their own separate codex or anything like that. I've heard nothing like that from my Inquisition contacts, whatever, and whatnot. But all I know is that we've got a new kit for certain, and it looks like it's going to be a really good one. We will have to see. Now, what's interesting is Guard have been getting a lot of love recently. When you think about the fact that in the last year or so, we've had the Catachan Commissar, we've had Sergeant Ripper Jackson, we've had a new Cadian Sprue, and now we've got a full new kit in the form of Krieg. And there's still stuff on the rumour engine that people suspect could be for the Guard. Yeah, it looks like there's this slow increase in momentum towards the Guard faction. You know, we started off with a standalone limited character. We got another one of those. Then we got a Sprue. Now we've got a kit. I don't know if a codex is coming or not, but we certainly seem to be getting an alright amount of attention from Games Workshop, and I'm all for it. You know, I'm all for the Guard community growing and expanding, and new blood and new ideas and all that kind of stuff. I'm all for it. And new Krieg models is literally something that a year ago would only have been discussed in hushed whispers because no one would dare mention it too loudly in case someone reset the clock. So it is really, really good having these kits finally out. Hope you guys think the same thing. Let me know down in the comment section below. Are you excited? Even if you're not a Guard, you know, a Krieg player, are you thinking of getting some Krieg models? You know, use them as a veteran squad, use them as some sort of hazardous environment kit, guys. What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section below what you think overall of the Kill Team box and whatnot. Are you excited for it? It seems to have some interesting ideas, like alternating activations and stuff. Maybe it's like a bit of a test bed if that will come over into mainstream 40k, 10th edition or something. Who knows? Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If you have enjoyed this video, please consider heading on over to the Patreon page. There will be a link down in the description below. And of course, a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters. It's going to be thanks to my Patreon supporters that I'm going to be able to get my hands on lots and lots of these Krieg models, lots and lots of these Orc models, and bring them to you for your viewing pleasure. So huge thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys are fantastic. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and of course, I'll see you next time.